Content creators of all stripes receive a lot of weird and creepy interactions with fans, whether it be parasocial relationships or harassment or what have you. And just to give you a little example of what I mean, here's an example of CDawg having a very uncomfortable interaction with one of his fans.
And so I go, yeah, Lord behold, she's holding a baby. Like literally a 2-month-old baby. I don't know how old this baby is.
Fresh baby.
Fresh. She's, oh, do you want to hold? I'm like, Connor? And I'm like, oh, that's a funny coincidence. She said, oh no, it's not a coincidence. I named him after you. And I'm like, okay, this is fucking weird. This is
Now you might think that type of weird, uncomfy behavior is reserved for people who are insanely popular, people with hundreds of thousands, millions of followers or subscribers or whatever, but it's really not. I'm a very small content creator. I have like 1,000 subscribers, and and a couple of my female friends actually have had similar experiences as well. A good friend of mine actually just recently told me about this dude who would make really creepy and uncomfortable and sexual jokes with her, and she felt like she didn't really want to call him out on it too much because she was really small at the time and she needed all the friends and fans that she could get, and she didn't want to be seen as causing drama or causing a fuss. I think that's a big part of it too, is the thing about really small creators is that you need all the support you can get, so you're willing to tolerate a lot of behavior that you genuinely shouldn't, just because there's this sense of insecurity and anxiety that comes along with speaking out about this stuff. So whether you're a huge creator that's just bound to attract a lot of weirdos to just being a really small creator that people see as easy to prey on, no one is truly immune from creeps on the internet, and I think that's a genuine problem. But at the same time, even when she was telling me about this story, she never actually told me his name, and he's never actually going to come to me and confess to his weirdness. So a lot of this behavior goes totally unchecked, entirely unchecked. It will never be held accountable for the way he made the people around him feel. But the more I talk to people, the more I realize that's almost standard, is that people who are victims or just generally made to feel uncomfortable, nothing bad happens to the people that make them feel uncomfortable. The overwhelming majority of people who do this never get called out on their behavior, and which means they probably never stop. And a large percentage of these cases are probably from a fairly small pool of people who just spread their garbage around and never get called out on it. And judging by the way these people talk, I wonder if a lot of them don't even realize how uncomfortable they're making the people around them. I have plenty more examples. When it comes to weirdos on the internet, there's almost an infinite number of examples. I don't think it's a controversial opinion to say that this sort of behavior is definitely a lot more common when it comes to female content creators, especially female streamers. So Hanako is a female VTuber. She had a very uncomfortable interaction with one of her fans. Hanako actually got married. One of her fans got really clingy and obsessive with it, saying, not long ago your boyfriend mentioned on Twitter that you two are getting married, yet you haven't said anything yet, which is worrying to me because it's just your boyfriend saying this and not you two. I'm concerned that your boyfriend is telling lies and manipulating. Don't take this the wrong way, just looking out for your safety. Which is bizarre because she does state that she did actually mention it. She just only mentioned it once, and it really wasn't a big deal, and her relationship really isn't anybody's business. Now, I do genuinely believe that this person thought that they were doing the right thing, but I think people just aren't aware of how uncomfortable it makes them when you pry into their personal lives. And the blatant and unfounded accusation that her boyfriend is manipulative just because she hadn't recently posted about their marriage is kind of weird. That's such a bizarre and dangerous leap to make. Like the fact that that's the first place your head goes to. Oh, I see one post on one account but not another on the other one. Obviously she's being manipulated. Like what? Why does your mind go there? And why do you feel the need to talk to the creator about it like you're their bestie, like you're their best friend, like it's your job to look out for their well-being and their social life? Like, you don't have that connection. You are not besties. So there's just this feeling of closeness that just isn't actually there, and where people feel like they're a part of your life when they're just genuinely not. And weird behavior in general, like I said, You could say, oh, Hanako, she's got 34K followers. She's pretty big. It makes sense that she'd receive weird or creepy interactions. It just comes with the territory. Not so. My buddy Abdog even gets really weird interactions with other male VTubers. This dude that she has never spoken before tried to start a conversation, not by messaging her and saying hi, but just immediately starting with a phone call. And then when she didn't answer, he doesn't actually be like, oh, this is why I called. He just says, join, which is super weird. That's not how anyone starts off an interaction with somebody. Just join. It's almost funny. Like, it wasn't funny for her, but it's almost funny how absurd it is that someone thinks that they can just command your time like that. You know what I'm saying? That they are entitled to your time without an explanation. And she very fairly said just no, lol, and blocked him, which is exactly what she should have done and exactly what any viewers watching should do if you ever get weird messages like this. If someone just demands your attention without explaining themselves, fuck them, block them, get them out of there. There's this weird entitlement that people have on the internet, and I don't know what motivated them to do this. I am genuinely curious, but they've been blocked and the situation is over, so even though I kind of want to pry, I won't. And there are many, many more instances of, and it's just, it's interesting to me because as a male VTuber who doesn't do this type of shit and who, as far as I'm aware, my male VTuber friends don't do this type of shit, I never see or experience any of this shit firsthand. This isn't something that we in the male VTuber community see a lot. So whenever it happens and happens to one of your friends, it's so weird and it's so out of place, and you can't even fathom that someone would do this. And I'm willing to bet that whoever this guy is, most of his friends probably wouldn't have been aware of this had she not posted it online, and many of them may never be aware of that since she censored his username. I feel like a lot of this behavior just goes completely under the radar. I may very well have male friends who are out there harassing women in my community right now, and I would just have no idea, because it's not like someone is going to go harass someone and then immediately report back, what do you think about it? No dudes ask other dudes for permission before they go harass somebody. They just do it, and you never hear about it until someone else calls them out on their behavior. So it's always a surprise. It's forever a surprise when it happens. It's important to me because I have a lot of friends on this app. I want to keep a lookout for shitty behavior so that I could potentially intervene if I see the signs of some shitty behavior forming. So really my main takeaway with this entire video is just that if you're a female content creator or really any type of content creator, there's no reason to tolerate shitty, creepy, weird behavior from your fans or your peers ever. And even if you don't want to cause a fuss, you don't want to report it and make this big exposed post about it because you're afraid of the backlash, never be afraid to tell someone to fuck off, never be afraid to block somebody. You don't have to tolerate anyone's behavior online. People online will only be able to harass you for as long as you allow them. Tell them to fuck off, block them, tell your friends so that they can avoid this person. None of that requires a public cancellation post if one of the things you're concerned about is public backlash. Not that I feel like you should be worried about that. I feel like it should be public knowledge when somebody is shitty, but I understand the fear of that negative public perception because there are people like Amber Heard out in the world who make fake accusations, so there's always a level of scrutiny anytime someone does come out with an accusation. That's all I want. I just want my friends and peers to just be careful and not hesitate to call people out on being a shithead. That's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye, guys.